Gadadhar, Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience. I just want to let you know that if we have any difficulty, we'll go down to the basement where Sartak has his whole setup, and we should have no audio or video issues downstairs. Okay, so Om Jnana Timarandasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisance unto him. Thank you. It's nice. I guess we'll get a chance to see everybody eventually. Let us just get to our verse for today. Okay. We're still on chapter 9, I believe, the most confidential knowledge. Give us the verse, please.
934.
933. You only did one verse.
Oh, 933, Maharaj.
Okay. Did we not do that one last week?
Yes, Maharaj.
So we're in 34?
Sorry, 34.
Yeah. Okay. Good verse. And it's the last one. All right. Madmana bhavamad bhakto majjaji mang namaskuru mam evashasi yuktvaivam atmanang matparayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisance unto me and worship me, being completely absorbed in me. Surely you will come to me. Good, thank you. Can we ask someone to read the first paragraph then?
Yeah. Sankalpa, you want to go? Vasanta, you want to read?
I will do it.
Okay, go ahead.
In this verse, it is clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly stated here, that all devotional service should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the mind of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being. He is the absolute truth. His body, his mind, and he himself are the one and absolute. It is stated in the Kurma Purana that it is quoted by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anubhasya commentary on Chaitanya Chamrita, 5th chapter, Adi Lila, verse 41 to 48. Deha Dehi Vibe. I can't say it.
You're doing good.
Okay.
Vibedo Yam. Go ahead.
Vibedo Yam Neshvar Vidyat. I'm not sure what the last one is.
Vijate Quachit.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know this science of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of the science of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Curtis. And I just wanted to point out something that we did prior, that this verse is very similar to one that comes 9 chapters later on. It's almost the same wording. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mang namaskaru. Mam, and then it's worded slightly different in chapter 18, but the message is really the same. So it seems that this message is an important one, since it's on for repetition. And what is Krishna saying here? Engage your mind. That is the mind. Go for mindfulness. A lot of people use that term these days. Mindfulness basically refers to get very concentrated on the here and the now. Be very much in the present. Don't get too caught up in the future because it hasn't arrived yet. And don't be too caught up in the past because it's behind you. Even Buddha said something about that. So basically, the thrust is to go for mode of goodness. What's important is the current situation, not the before and the after, but work on what is now, and then there's likely you'll have the best possible future. So it seems like a tall order that Krishna is giving here, to be give your love to me. And we may ask, why should anybody just give their full attention to one other individual? Well, here's one way to look at it, is that the Lord says, Mamaivam sho jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. That's also in the Gita. And Krishna is saying there that everyone is my part and parcel. This is God speaking about all the jiva souls, all the living entities. They are a part and parcel of him. So if you're loving Krishna then, and you apply that particular formula that everyone is part and parcel, then automatically you are loving yourself. I think a lot of people can appreciate that lesson, that message that, well, you really have to love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, there's going to be contempt. And there's a lot of people who feel very bad about what they're not able to accomplish. There's maybe some feeling of guilt. And guilt is justified, but it should not be in the overdrive. When one has to be very careful about not going overboard when it comes to feeling rotten about yourself. There is a good side to an individual, and even though one may have done wrong and committed mistakes in the past, because we, through verses prior, we're talking about anyone who does abominations. You can feel bad about yourself, but never give up. Always be a warrior, be that fighter. Pick yourself up, hold your head high, and move along in the, let's say, in the mood of Dharma, doing what needs to be done. And eventually you'll gain respect, you'll build up your own self-esteem, and you'll be able to accomplish wonderful things. So the focus really needs to be on Krishna. And generally our minds are everywhere but him. That's really the problem. We're serving everywhere but him. We're looking at the energy and we're not considering the energetic. We're looking at the force, we're not considering the source. So there's a mistake right there. If you can concentrate on the source, the force automatically flows along with it. So like the example is given in Canto 6 of the Bhagavatam, if you water the root of the tree, all the leaves and branches become nourished. If you just go and take a pitcher of water and pour on one of the branches, they'll say, thank you very much. But very soon you will dry up. So it's a matter of getting to the source. And that's what the Gita is all about, recognizing the origin of all. Janmadi Shayataha. The first words in the Bhagavatam are addressing Bhagavan, he who from everything emanates. It's really kind of a perfect definition of what is God. He who from everything emanates. Of course, some people take objection to the term he. They would rather say she, and then he's won't like that. But why don't we say it? Okay, it then. Okay, it from whom everything emanates. But let us acknowledge the source of all. So that's the first line. Become my devotee. Okay, yeah, do devotional things. Offer your homage unto me. Many people are like, say, do they do some workout, and it involves, taking a low position, and even push-ups. Isn't push-ups a kind of a punishment? You do something wrong, they're required to do some push-ups, and but actually it's a good thing in the end, right? Punishment may not be a bad thing. Okay, and then Krishna says finally, worship me, which comes in the form of yaji. Yaji, like yagya, yaji, that means to worship, to do some kind of, offer some kind of sacrifice. And be absorbed in me. Let's see, that is being absorbed, yuktva, yukta, immerse yourself. And then what is the end result of all of this? Putting on in all this great investment into Krishna. And he says, then you'll come to me. That means you will leave the material existence.
Maharaj, we can't hear you.
Hey, he's not in the meeting right now. Somehow he got. No, he's there. He's there. He is here.
Maybe we can all donate a better internet connection to that temple. For Maharaj, just specifically for Maharaj,
That's a
Maybe just $5 for each one of us per month, or 10.
I'm in. I'll do it. I'll put in
I
a
do
20
it.
thing.
I do it.
Yeah, that will be a very nice idea. So maybe we can let Sarthak know, and then
Or we can get him a Wi-Fi booster wherever his signal is coming from. If he's getting it from downstairs, and if the signal is coming from downstairs and he's up there, he'll need a booster to segue the transmission.
Yeah, because the Wi-Fi in the Toronto temple, I think, is downstairs in Billy's office. So Maharaj is all the way on the top floor, like at one far end of the temple. So his signal is bad up there.
Can you call Maharaj?
We can look into getting him a router.
So yes, definitely that is something we can work on. We will discuss about that. Can someone just lead a small kirtan solo? Thank you. I'm going to call my
Call Gopal, he will do.
Gopal is outside.
Okay.
I hope everyone did their 64 rounds of japa
Oh, Hare
during that little period. Hare Krishna. Okay, so I ended on the note of, let's see, getting back to Krishna. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. Any comments, any questions anybody may have?
The verse sounds very, very ecstatic. If we get to that platform, I'm sure we just be always busy. We always think of Krishna.
Yes, we're going to come down. We will start. Hello, are we ready? Okay, thank you. Okay.
We lost him again.
Yes. Arjuna, can you chant Hare Krishna mantra for a couple of minutes?
What was that, Mataji?
And lead a kirtan, a small kirtan, quick.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
So
Krishna.
he has, due to technical difficulties, he is unable to connect, and therefore we need to, I mean, he is unable to connect. So what we can do today is maybe just because we are here, maybe senior devotees like Murari Gupta or Gaurchanda can say one or two pastimes they remember with Maharaj. And also, Maharaj told me to write a letter to Toronto management. So I'm going to include all our names in that, because we are all getting together, and we are all getting affected because the internet connection is not properly there. So just, I'm letting you all know ahead of time that all your names will be included in that letter. So thank you. So Murari Gupta ji and Gaur Chandar ji, and Curtis, you also can. You walked with Maharaj, so maybe you also can say a couple of things. That way, would be a nice meeting also.
I think that's a great idea, because Curtis, he spent, I think, 3 weeks with him every day, almost 24 hours a day. If Curtis, if you remember even one specific thing that you remember.
And yeah, just so you all know, keep in mind this is getting recorded and this is going in Facebook as well as YouTube live. So yes, please.
So while you think about, I just want to read just a statement of Prabhupada, and this is very much in line with what Prabhupada was Guru Maharaj was talking about, how Krishna is always merciful and he's always forgiving, no matter what. Like that verse, Apiche Suduracharo, that even if one commits the most abominable action, is not considered horrible because he's rightly situated. Anyway, this is in the Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 22nd chapter, 35th verse. Prabhupada says, even if a neophyte devotee falls from the standard of proper behavior by the force of his past bad habits, the all-merciful Lord will not reject him. So this gives us a great strength. We will never feel ourselves rejected because the Lord does it. And he specifically, Prabhupada says, a neophyte devotee. What to speak of somebody who has years and years of bhakti yoga? Even a neophyte devotee is not rejected by the Lord. Anyway, that was just a little thing that I was thinking when Maharaj mentioned the verse that he was explaining 2 weeks ago. Anyway, go ahead, Murari Gupta ji, or Curtis. One thing that they told me.
Hello?
Who's that? Murari Gupta.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yes, go ahead.
Jai, Hare Krishna. Nice to see all of you. Gaurachandra Prabhu, my obeisance, Vaishnavi, Hare Krishna, all of you. Well, I can say that I can attest to no matter how low you fall, Krishna is so merciful. I can say that it's pretty funny. I was thinking about a few days ago that actually the first time I saw and met Maharaj was in 1975. We were both brahmacharis, and Srila Prabhupada was visiting the Atlanta temple. And so my story is that I left, but I didn't really leave. But many years later, when I came back to a regular chanting japa, being back involved, I never really wanted to take initiation ever. That was a big problem I had from the time of the late 1960s and 1970. I traveled with Radha Damodar Party. I traveled with Vishnu Jan Swami and Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And all the time I was being pushed to take initiation. But every time I would read, I don't know if any of you have read the Bhaktisiddhanta's version of the seriousness of taking Harinam initiation. And every time I would read that, I would say, boy, I don't think I'm worthy of this. I don't think I can pull this off. So I kept avoiding it. So now, fast forward almost 30 years. I mean, I'm going like from 1975 now to 2000. And at that time, I had come back into the Hare Krishna movement because, Krishna is always playing jokes on us, always playing he's a jokester. So what happened was, at that time, after the bombing of, when did they bomb the Arabs bombed those towers in New York? 2000, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but right after that, I think it was 2001.
right after that, the laws changed so that anybody that was taking money from the government for whatever it was, in my case, I'm a physician, so I was taking Medicaid and money from government insurances. They required for you to get fingerprinted and do a background check. So I didn't think much of it. And I went to get my fingerprints. And then the hospital administrator called me down and he said, hey, it turns out that I had forgotten that while I was this book distributor, I've been arrested 18 times as a book distributor, arrested and taken to, and you know, they always let you out. They keep your Lakshmi and let you go. But I was arrested, and all these photos with me in a shaved head, and it's, you know, and then I had to explain to the hospital administrator, why was I arrested 18 times, you know? So I was saying, well, you know, I tried to explain, I was handing out yoga books and this and the other, I don't know. But then what happened was I went to see a lawyer. All this time I had not been back to, after Srila Prabhupada left his body, I was so disenchanted with all the things that happened at that time, you know, the gurus initiating all over the world, the division, like after Srila Prabhupada left his body, ISKCON took the map and like divided it into like Christopher Columbus and the Portuguese, and they divided the whole globe, and they gave this guy South America and the other guy, you know, and I got so disenchanted that I just went on my own. But when this happened, I went to see a lawyer and I said, how do I get this stuff off of my record? And he goes, well, if you do like 1,000 hours of community service and this and the other thing, and it turns out that I could go to the temple and do my community service there because there's a lawyer at that temple. You all know Harish Chandra, he's a lawyer at the temple. So I go back, but I go back anonymously, not as an old brahmachari from Radha Damodar party, just as a criminal going to do community service work at the temple. So I came back and I said, well, I needed somebody to sign that I did this community service. And Harish Chandra said, okay, nobody recognized me. Even though in the temple, the Miami temple, the deities that are there, the Gaura-Nitai deities that were there, I personally drove those deities down from, Prabhupada brought them to Gainesville, and I brought them from Gainesville in those days, that we used to do trades, like if you had a good cook and the other guy has a good pujari, sometimes you traded a cook for a pujari, you know? So the Gainesville temple, Dharma Prabhu was the pujari. He was very highly qualified. And I brought the pujari and the deities. I drove them from Gainesville to Miami, and the head pujari, Dharma, it was still the head pujari when I showed up again 30 years later to go to do this community service work. But he didn't recognize me, and I recognized him. At the beginning, he didn't recognize me. So I started doing a lot of community service, and before long, you know, I got brought back in. I was having so much fun washing dishes in Krishna's temple, and pretty soon I started, you know, I just got, and then people started recognizing me. And after about a year, Malati told me that I needed to take initiation. And so I didn't want to. And she invited me to come to the Festival of Inspiration, the first one. I don't know the first Festival of Inspiration, I think it was 2002, 2003, I'm not sure. And I went guru shopping at the Festival of Inspiration because all the big heavy hitters were there, and they're all my friends. Radhanath Swami, Bhaktimarga Swami. At that time, I know all these guys where I was brahmacharis with all of them. So I went guru shopping in New Vrindavan, and the first, just pulling in to New Vrindavan, I drove in, and there was Bhaktimarga Swami leading a kirtan, like walking around the temple with a bunch of guys doing a kirtan, and I immediately fell in love, you know, and I said, I didn't get to do any guru shopping. I said, this is my man, you know? I went to speak with Maharaj afterwards. And, you know, I told them that it was very difficult for me to take initiation because, you know, I had met Srila Prabhupada, and I just have a hard time taking initiation. And Bhaktimarga Swami was so humble, and so he laughed and he said, "You don't expect me to be like Srila Prabhupada, do you?" That's what he said to me. But I felt like I was in good hands. And I'll tell you, ever since then to now, I think that the only other person, I think I was the second person he initiated. I think you were the first one, Gaurachandra. I'm not sure. But I think you were the first one and I was the second one. I'm not sure. But I think so, because I have never written this stuff down. But anyways, all these years have gone by, and we have done the most, he's engaged me in the most wonderful projects. We've opened temples together all over the world, you know, in Buenos Aires and in Cuba and Halifax and all over the world. So meeting Maharaj again and serving him has really been a blessing for me, because I brought my, you know, without seva, without service, all of this is meaningless, you know. So that's my 3 cents, and I'm waiting to hear from you, Gaurachandra Prabhu.
Right.
And if anybody has any questions or anything like that, I don't know. I wish we could spend more time all together. It would be a nice thing. Jai.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
That was really wonderful and so tasty how you present. I just, you know, I was lucky that when I approached Maharaj for initiation in 1987. At that time, there was a couple from Toronto. I don't remember the name. I think the husband is from Trinidad, the wife is from Guyana. And so we kept in touch. Okay, but I kept on asking Maharaj. Maharaj said, "Why you want to take initiation from me?" I said, "I'm not a guru." I said, "What do you mean you're not a guru?" They said, "No, there's so many gurus. Why me?" I said, "It doesn't matter, Maharaj. You know, I'm extremely attracted by your spiritual nobility. Is a noble personality, aristocratic in the pure sense. You know." I said, "But that's a headache. We have to go through the GBC. They have to accept somebody. It's a long process." I said, "It doesn't matter how long it takes." And so I waited 3 years, because finally he initiated me in 1990 in Montreal. I said, "Maharaj, should I come to Toronto?" He said, No, I'll come to Montreal. So before that, I called the couple in Toronto. I said, "Hey guys, Maharaj is ready to give initiation. So what about you?" They said, "Oh, we are not ready." I said, "Oh, very good. So I'll be alone there. I'll be the first one, and so nobody will be sitting with me." You know, the ego trip, whatever. I felt flattered to be the first, and first doesn't mean anything anyway. First rhymes with word, and I'm pretty sure I'm the worst. In any case, it's a long story. It was very exciting. Anyway, I would like other people to talk, and if Curtis remembers something about the walk, because this is one of Maharaj's favorite, I don't know if I say pastime, but favorite service, yes. The walk and the drama. Of course, he loves to do class and kirtan. He's an amazing kirtaniya. But I guess the 2 favorite things is the walking to inspire people, and the drama, you know, which is actually mentioned in his pranama mantra. the one that he doesn't really want us to chant. But, you know, I asked back in 1989, or before that, I asked Kripanidhi Das, he's a Prabhupada Sarva. I said, can you compose a pranama mantra for Bhaktimarga Swami? He said, yes. And he did it in English. Then he sent me to Vrindavan so that Satyanarayan, a great genius, a Sanskrit genius, he could translate it. I can hear my voice coming back. Anyway, so then it was translated in Sanskrit. Sri Gunanama Kuparam Sri Bhaktimarga Swami Nam Marga Darshanam Bhattanantam Pranamami Hamuda Kalanandaka Sangite Pashtatari Sanskriti Sri Prabhupada Virena Stapitam Garbitoisam Kalanataka Sangite, that is being impregnated by the potence of Srila Prabhupada to preach the Aryan culture in the Western world through the media Kala Nataka Sangite, Kala arts, and he's a very artistic personality. In fact, before he joined, he was in the art college in Ontario. I think it was Sudbury, Ontario. Maharaj, there is a couple of paintings that Maharaj did before he joined, and I don't know if you have it. You can see how Maharaj. In any case, he's an incredible actor. We used to travel with him, and he used to perform dramas that they were composed by other devotees after he also started to compose. And I think this is the second. I cannot just put it in order, but he loves to act. At a certain point, he said that I cannot direct and act at the same time. And so now he only directs the dramas, and he composes, he writes them. Anyway, I think this is enough. If Curtis remembers something from the walk, because that's his second, first, second, or whatever, one of his favorite service. That's why his name is the Walking Monk. Curtis, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you remember something?
Mirage is very austere. To walk as much as he did is quite a challenge. I don't know, I always felt protected when I was with him, that's for sure. I feel like you say you're the worst, but I'm the worst at glorifying him right now.
He was so happy to see you last week that there's so much joy in his face, because, you know, Maharaj is full of love for everybody, but specifically people that they have done something for him. But regarding the austerity, I heard when I was in Toronto that when Maharaj was distributing books in Northern Ontario in the mid-70s, this devotee was traveling with him. He told me that in the winter, when it was minus 22 or 25, and the pipes, they used to stay in motels. So the pipes of the motels, they used to freeze. And so they wanted to take shower, and there was no water. And so nobody was taking shower. But Maharaj would take his gamcha, which everybody knows what is a gamcha, and just bare chest going out there at minus 25 degrees and taking shower with the snow. He was massaging his body with snow. And that's one of his characteristics, you know. I call him, I dare to call him the urban Tyagi. He's urban because he's the Swami of the city. He's in the heart, in the core of Teo, which is the biggest city in Canada. And even the worst, there's so much crime. But Maharaj, as you know, he walks around at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 or whatever, because he practically doesn't sleep. And of course, he's fearless because he always says, I'm not alone. And Krishna is always with him. And Anyway, again, if anybody else wants to say something, go ahead, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhus.
Yeah.
This is Mandala Ramdas Maharaj. He was so kind to me to allow me to go on the walk with him to the United States for 3 consecutive years. I got to spend some time with him. And one of the first years, this was pretty much one of my first introductions to, actual Krishna consciousness and being around a pure devotee, that I was also new to driving at the time. And in Canada, we have the speed limit in kilometers, and in the States, it's in miles per hour. So I was just driving normally. I think the speed limit at the time was 50 miles per hour. And I think I was going about 80, just not paying attention. And a police officer pulled us over, and he comes up to the window and he says, do you know how fast you were going, sir? And I said, no, I don't. So he told me I was 30 miles per hour over, which is something like almost triple the speed limit. Pretty dangerous. And so then he goes back, he takes my license and everything. And then Maharaj is in the passenger seat at this time because we were doing nighttime walking because it was really hot during the day. And Maharaj says, let's chant in Narasimha Dev. So he starts leading Narasimha Dev prayers, and I'm just following along. And then the police officer comes back. He's like, he looks in, he's like, oh, you're the walking monk, aren't you? And Maharaj's like, yes, the police officer, oh, we've been told about you. We've heard that you're coming through town. And long story short, he just starts like talking to Maharaj, all excited, and then saying, don't worry about this speed limit. I know you guys are probably confused from the passenger side, but Maharaj just started talking really sweetly to him and inviting him to programs. I just saw how Maharaj was all-inclusive and has always been all-inclusive to every single person that he meets. He really has no judgment, no envy in his heart at all, and is just the most loving personality to come across. He's really the most special person I've met. Thanks to Maharaj, I was able to really come in contact with Krishna consciousness. So all glories to Maharaj.
And that is, one of those walks is when we first met Mantala Prabhu also. So
yeah.
From disciple 1 to disciple 2, it took about 12 years, right? Is that true?
No, Maharaj had other disciples.
No, is Munari Gupta disciple too?
No. Keshava in Toronto. And then Nita Priyala இருக்காங்க. நிறைய பேர் இருக்காங்க நடுவுல. So anyone else would like to?
Shall we talk about the Wi-Fi booster?
No, I mean we have to. That will be addressed in the group chat. So we will address the Wi-Fi booster, or if what we need to do, and if we need any monetary help from everyone, we will let you know in the WhatsApp group. So it's 5:55. So is anyone else having anything else to say?
I have something.
Sure.
Just a question. Can I be put on the WhatsApp group? Because Marge told me about this class, but I've only been attending for the last 2-3 weeks. Knowing about it. So if you would mind to add me, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yes. Can you send me your phone number via chat in the Zoom?
Okay. In the Zoom. Okay.
And then
my phone number?
yeah, somehow I
Okay.
need phone number. So right now easiest will be via chat. And anybody else has anything else? Okay, if not anything, I will wait for your Shanti. I will wait for your chat message. But in the meantime, so we can finish the meeting here.
Hare Krishna.
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय अनन्तकोटि वैष्णव. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada.